very good afternoon to you. This is Dr. Ramsarran with your lunch hour date. Getting it right, the PPP program to allow you to meet your leaders, to hear their opinions, and at the same time to call in and give us advice and ideas, even sometimes directions. As a matter of fact, I can tell you this, the new manifesto for the upcoming election is already being prepared, and the team of about 30 people who sat together, the group, has been taken on board, at least for discussion, some of the points that the party gets when we have these public interfaces. Not only physically public, like when we're in the villages, house to house, or when we are at the markets or wherever, but programs like these. So keep calling in, and I'd like to remind you that after the program I'll be here for about an hour in studio. We won't be on the screen, but we'll be in the studio to take from you any more information you like to see, and any more, should I say, advice and directions to your party as some of the things that we might be needing to do, or what you think, or your group in your circle of friends and family would like to convey, but you want like to convey it on the television. So an hour or so after here, I will be still in studio waiting for your calls on the said lines. Now, I will quickly run through this weekend's Mirror newspaper, and I noticed we noticed an increase in the sales of the Mirror newspaper, the number, right? So from time to time, your operator might bring it up, but I want to refer to last week's one first. Is it last week one? This is which one? 20th. Right. Last week's one, we had a reference to it, where it's a developing story, so like it is installment. Lowenfield called on to start preparation for elections already. That was a week ago. Was the order for the house campaign that is now going on, registration, was it backdated? Is there another effort to cacophile us, to bamboozle us from the GCOM? So the Mirror newspaper is closely associated with the views of your party, and it might be useful for you to try to get copies in your community. But more again, Lowenfield last week starring, now Starboy is here again in this newspaper. Lowenfield under pressure, this is what Mirror is saying, when people who know their job as journalists keep questioning him and so on. It says Lowenfield again in the same blue banner with the party. We're giving them blue, you're giving us the blues, right? It says Lowenfield, this weekend edition of the Mirror newspaper, the Weekend Mirror. Lowenfield admits that house-to-house registration is unnecessary for impending elections. And somebody tied him up with that, but it should have been done, tied him up and forced him into this admission. And I'm certain we have not heard so far if they're suing the Mirror newspaper for libel, so we will assume that this is a fit and proper headline. Lowenfield admits on page 19 of this newspaper that house-to-house registration is unnecessary for impending elections. And we've been peddling that view, we've been promoting that view for the longest while. And you might want to share when you come into the telephone calls and call in, when you want to share your ideas on it. We have been saying, and let me digress a little bit again, this has been based to this saying, this advice, this conclusion which the PPP has been making publicly and advising you about, comes and rests also on the wording, on the directions, on the advice of the counsel, the lawyer, who is a full-fledged lawyer, who is employed to give GCOM advice. The term I think that lady lawyer used was review. The current list could be reviewed, and without having to go to house, because that was the aim of all the investment over the past few years, to bring GCOM up to par so that it can do certain things like tidying up the list. So the Lowenfield admits that house-to-house registrations are unnecessary for impending elections. The nice blue band there, right? So this is what we've been saying all the time, and it's very troublesome, very worrisome rather, that we can only get these things out of the people who should know, whose job it is to know, after pressuring them and wasting vital time. Right, vital time. For example, the weeks and the energy and the resources that Lowenfield might have cost to be spent for this exercise, and the disruption, because if it comes off now, if he stops it, he stops it. There will be another big national discussion. But those funds could have been saved or go towards the conduct of the upcoming elections. So Lowenfield is the center point again. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right. Hello? That's one of my admirers, but I'm playing hard to get, so she sometimes calls in and makes foolish noises, right? She had to cut that call, I think, because she hasn't got credits. That's how bad things are going under this new government, right? You can call to custom, but you can only start with the first sentence. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right. Hello. Well, we're right. So what I suspecting, they're going to call in, and sometimes they will attempt to use on these calls foul language, which might slip through and damage the quality of the program. So we want to, we will probably on a cell phone I can see their numbers, but I don't see numbers here coming up on the landline. So let's hope we have some sane, reasonable people who want to call into the PPP's program, the oldest and program by the PPPC, and share their ideas. So we are on to Mr. Lowenfield, and I'm not speaking of him as a person, but as an operator, because I'm certain that he has some values that even collide with what he's being asked to do now by the PNC. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right.
PPP has time.
Okay.
PPP.
Okay, that's an ardent supporter or critic probably saying that the PPP had the time. Well, the time coming now. Look here, Lowenfield admits what the PPP has been saying. It's we time. Lowenfield admits, and we probably got to do another thing the PPP is calling for, right? Lowenfield admits that house-to-house registration is unnecessary from impending elections. So here it is. You might need to challenge that. The callers, especially those who wasting their credits, the poor people, I suspect, wasting their credits trying to disrupt the program on the instructions of their bosses probably in Campus Place, right, to detract from our impact. Should look at this and listen to this. This is Lowenfield, a man who been vigorously taking a certain stubborn line, and now he's saying. So you might want to get, first of all, those three young ladies that call in, they should get the copy of the Mirror, right, so that they don't get false news, right, and they will see that Lowenfield himself, who is the top-notch or top operative at the Elections Commission office here in Georgetown, he is admitting that house-to-house registration is unnecessary for impending elections. And this article continues on page 14, and it's so much interesting to see now the persons who should have been saying so long ago are now saying so after being pushed in a corner. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right. Hello? Hello, I didn't get you. You are breaking up. Okay, but we still gotta work hard. You can't be complacent. Okay. You gotta lower the volume. Okay, the volume. Remember, my operator is frantically waving there, asking me to remind you to lower your volume, because it is even you can't hear it, much less other people looking to listen to your contribution. So Lowenfield has finally admitted that what the PPP been saying for the longest while, not only the PPP, but people who are taking a more sober and patriotic stance. This is to even Mr. Ram, right? Even Mr. Christopher Ram, attorney at law, has made these similar pronouncements just about the same time. Court ruling on legal challenge to house-to-house registration set for August 2nd, 2019. The court challenge has been mounted against the house-to-house registration being carried out by the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, by attorney at law Christopher Ram. Representing Ram, and that is the same lawyer, is former Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandalal, and former Speaker of the National Assembly Ralph Ramkuran, who on Monday, July 22nd, 2019, filed an application in the High Court against the Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Lowenfield, the Commissioner of National Registration of Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, and the Attorney General. So you see a powerful team is there, and this is these people are very independent-minded, the lawyers, and they've come forward to give a contribution to taking the case of the PPP's challenge to the correctness or the legality of the house-to-house registration exercise itself that's been challenged, right? And then, if we look again in the same edition, you won't see there on the screen, the same edition, it's know the facts, know your rights. Don't be misled. That's in the Mirror newspaper. It appears only in the Mirror newspaper for the time being. That's why we really got to get the electronic version going, and at the same time encourage you to procure yours. This is available at all party headquarters and by the activists in your area. Right? Here's what it says. I know my operator is doing a great job, but he can't get this because it's the cameras need. It makes it look a little blurry. The APNU plus AFC coalition government continues to peddle lies about reason behind the push for new house registration. This is the first sentence in a flyer that the PPP is distributing. So far, we've distributed about 105,000 copies. Okay, so I want to thank the youngsters, especially the younger people, but they're also matured and seasoned activists, party activists walking around with these teams. As I reported last week, we had great success in Linden on the previous weekend, and in Buxton on the subsequent weekend with these teams. So we were inviting all young people who has an interest in defending democracy and keeping the Constitution in focus and being correctly applied, that you can join these teams in your community. Okay, they usually wear the party red t-shirt, but if you don't have for that particular activity, we welcome you still to come along. And we have noticed some younger folk that is in the late teenager group and young adults that they are coming forward, because we are suspecting that the families are discussing this so intensely at home, the political situation, that it's trickling down to the teenagers, who sometimes tend not to take much heed of this so-called big people conversation. So I want to congratulate the teams that are being led in the field by Dion Young, by Suzanne in Georgetown, and by other people up in Georgetown, by Buds right up to Freedom House in New Amsterdam. So that's a massive activity, and Getting It Right is asking you to consider joining those teams in your community. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right.
Yes, good day. How are you?
Good trying.
Okay. And I'm calling just to, have my opinion here, right? Now, my grandparents and my parents, and now I'm a parent of myself, right? We've been voting PPP because that's, something that is not done.
Okay, so what is the difficult?
The thing is that I see you guys been doing a lot of good work, right? I have a family member who was in the government during the PPP time. My grandfather, same thing. Now what I'm saying is that this thing with this government, they know they're supposed to come out. What they're trying to do is nonsense. My kids will tell me, they finished secondary school, and tell me that what is going on, this is crazy.
Okay, well, could I want to thank you for that observation. Say this: they're trapped, they're back to a wall, right? And that's why we are getting the party is getting so much good traction. So I would invite you, as I've invited other people. You don't have to give name and so on now, but you can make a contribution, especially if you have young children who are probably adults, young adults. And we're doing training already. The party has started in about already a month, training for polling day staff. Whenever we're ready, just like how GCOM should have been training with all the money we're giving them, they should have been training their staff. We are training for the past, it's over a month, definitely almost 2 months started on afternoons and weekends, and we intend to train an excessive number of scrutineers who will become polling agents and polling clerks and different things. Not polling clerks, our observers, our representatives in the polling stations.
Okay,
so you can join that too.
There's another thing I would like to see. Now, when PPP was in government, right? Yes, these is not an improvement. I'm not lying about this. This government been here, people might say, oh, they're only 3 years or 4 or whatnot. But within 100 days or, less than 90 days, they showed no whatsoever improvement. Any part in this one.
So could I join you here saying two things? First of all, with 100 days, you listen to this, and you might take this for granted already. I might have forgotten it. In Barajag's first 100 days, you usually count what things you have achieved. 80 of those days we were spending out in fires on Regent Street by the scooter gang, beaten. Remember that? So it's not only, I want a comparison, they have a peaceful time, and besides that, sir, they have inherited the programs that they're executing, like the road program. Like certain, I noticed they're making caring health clubs to the schools. That is in the plan that I devised, my personal input. So you got to be careful. Lots of nice things will happen. They will bungle some of them, but like the roadways over in Region 3 and so on. Those are things that they did not even have to wake up. They didn't even have to scratch their head. Everything was there. So you're correct. Not only did we do good when we were in office, but our residual influence is there. So we hope that when we do take back power, that we will be able to push things faster, because these plans that have been executed are ours. Like on East Bank, the road, we had difficulties with some utility firms who had their infrastructure very close to the road. So those things are now solved, and this government is looking good. The roads are nice. But I want you to remember this, especially tell youngsters, those are PPP plans that were being executed. Oh, right? Okay, so we hello? Okay, so that was one of our better calls, and I'm happy that the caller and the viewer identified the issue. They want to stay in power, right? And but they have done nothing new. He's very correct. They've done nothing new. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right.
Yeah, I just got back off.
Okay.
Was another question or something I would like to say. You see this thing, I see you have to share yourself, Anil Nandalal, I see, a lot of people, PPP, people who's in the PPP, they come on television, they go on the radio and stuff, and they reach out to people, which is something very good. But I hope and I wish that when you guys go into power again, which I know that is a fact, that you guys continue to interact with the people like this, because I could recall like several times when you go to various ministries, you get a riot when you try to view your opinion, nothing's been coming out of it.
Okay, we've noted that, right? And we were warned about this by the Jagons too, because they had experience when you get involved in government, certain of the party work gets neglected. So we're going to be looking at that, and I know specifically opposition leader Jagdo is looking at that, and Irfan is very much aware of those comments. Irfan Ali, President, very much aware. So you're right. But sometimes it could be that our activists down in the villages and resident and a place like that, they're tired and so on. So we got to give them some kind of re-energizing. But I agree with you, because we come across this criticism sometimes. You only come in when your election day.
Yes.
But that's not particularly so. But if people feel hurt, the main thing is that they would take your flyers still, or they would talk to you.
It's like we've been neglected because we support you guys, and then when there's time to something be done, like for instance, the road. I'm living in Wales. We're not far from the city, right?
Okay.
I see the amount of craziness that's happening. Now, what I'm saying is, like, the police force, come on, they need to do a better job of harassing people. Deal with the people so you can be like, friends, your family at the end of it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the if we vote for PPP or whoever. The only thing that I want for myself and my kids, I'm not going to live forever. Or my kids, but we want to get living.
Right. You want a good environment created for living.
Right.
You don't need a government job. You don't need a stipend from that's what the PPP was doing. Those housing schemes over on the east, over on Region 3, right? That was a major activity. Look at the road that you're getting, right? And so I think it was.
I saw this guy on I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think he's coming from Region 3, or he's working at the Region 3 some guy named Ganesh or something. I don't know the whole thing of it. He was showing critics, look at what the government's doing, and look at these things that he is hearing and nobody tells him, or he's so blinded that he don't see. These are things that,
or he's being paid. So sometimes he might be paid to sell his soul.
And it's only now that there's election coming up, so we're going to go and highlight what we did. It's not what we did, or that's anything. It's what the PPP has started, and they just seen you.
Yeah, well, I want to mention one quick thing that they slipped in recently. I have the newspapers, but I'm not getting time to back read it. That the clubs, they are going to be putting health clubs in the schools. You understand me? that was one of our points in our manifesto and in the health plan for from 2013 to 2020. And I'm so tickled to see how they're not even adding on, as you and the other speaker said, not adding on something of their own, something extra, right? But they slip this in, and when the current minister of health is speaking, it's like if it was invented by them, right? So those are some of the things that our youngsters have to look at. Youngsters, I mean, let's say first-time voters or people who are still under 25 and so on. These are
another thing. Is it possible that you can just take me off here, like for like 20?
No, I can't take you off. Otherwise, I only have myself here for the time being. What we do, I'll be back. I'll be staying in the studio for several hours afterwards, or you can call me by cell phone, and I will call you back to save the credits. Okay?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Right. Okay. But obviously, that gentleman is a friend of the program and wants to share some confidential information, right? So we usually hear, or I am on my cell phone is available 24/7, all day, all night, all week. Just call me and we will take down your opinions. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right.
Hello, good afternoon.
Same to you. Thanks for coming through.
I just want to make one point. Right? This previous government, right, doing one thing. And I guess that the other government that is taking over, right?
Okay.
Other government would be taking over. Right? I do hope that when they take over and they make a budget, they don't spend half of the budget on what the previous minister did or what the other minister did or what, because that is what is going on right now and punishing the people.
Yeah.
You understand? So I hope you do record it and put it over to the opposition, Dr. Bheri.
Okay, thanks for bringing that point to the wider viewership. But before you go, I want to remind you and in your community and the whole television audience, the party has started identifying and training election day officials for some time now. So even if you can't make it, even if you can't make it, you're for whatever reason, we want this information to get out. And we've noted that the teenagers, especially the older ones, the 18, 19 years old, they're starting to bubble up, they're starting to respond, because most likely the discussion is going on in their families, right? So I'm using your call to appeal to other persons who might be older and not as agile and so on, and have other commitments. Encourage the family and friends and neighbors to join, to get the training. Why? We can stop, we might lose that one vote in the community if you have to put them in a polling station.
In this community, everybody is available.
Yeah, okay, well, and what now with social media, if you get one of these youngsters who know, they can send out that information and so on, wide and far. And the next thing I want to bring to your attention, you allow me to use you a little bit. Dr. Bheri, every Thursday religiously, he has a press briefing at 1 o'clock at his office. That, of course, I'm not inviting everybody to come there. What I'm inviting you to do is to know about this and tune in. And then it's streamed, it's put up in cyberspace for you to see it. So the younger people will know how to do this. So you get the information right as it drops off his lips. You're getting it almost, right? So that's another way besides the Mirror newspaper. So I want you to pass that around social media. They post it all around the place, especially the press briefing. So that press briefing gives you a synopsis of what had happened over the whole previous week. So it's a vital source of information and the PPP thought. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank that gentleman for coming through, right, and being so patient with me. And I want to remind about what I said at the beginning of that last discourse. We are in election mode. We are in election mode. That was an international call I missed, right? We are in election mode. The party is good at it, but we will be better if we get more and more support from the community levels. Identify not now, not later, not towards election, but now, young people especially, but any age group who is invited to become trained the polling day staff. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right. Hello. Okay, I'm not hearing you too well. Could you speak up? Morning. I wasn't getting. We didn't get your initial words. Could you repeat?
Sorry, that was a long talk, but they didn't manifest to the campaign because they tried to take it and they took.
Oh, you mean we must keep it secret?
Yes.
Okay, well, so far we're doing that well. We have about 30 people from right across the country in the committee that's making it, writing it up, and no, nothing much is leaked out. All we can tell you is this as a peep review. It is going to be great. It's going to be better than the previous one. And if you have a copy of the program of the party, the party program, and then the manifesto itself from the last election, you'll get an idea, because we're not abruptly changing things. We're doing things just better and bigger. Okay?
They don't talk about any manifesto from this election because then we'll take it and
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We're not speaking, but I'm just giving information that it's ready in the making. It's far advanced, and we have, for example, the health sector. There's a team that was contributing to that. The social sector. So I'm happy. We won't give it away. We won't get them have our things. Okay. Thank you for coming through. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome to Getting It Right.
Yes, Doctor, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Happy to have you.
Okay, thank you. I am calling from Canada, and sometimes my customers and myself are very interested in politics because we come from there. I'm very happy that Honorable Dr. Shane has been appointed. But tell me something, with this going house to house registration, do you think she have the power to squash house to house or call an election? What is her power or her authority right now? What she have that she can work with to speed up this election so that these people can be contented and can be very, very happy? Because we in the American countries are very worried about the politics because we have loved one in there, we have investment in there, and we like to go back to Ghana to live sometimes in the future.
Yes.
Instead of going to Florida and around the world, and we are connected to Ghana, and we really worry about the situation in Ghana. I'm very happy that step one has been taken, that Claudette Singh has been appointed.
That's a huge step.
Huge step, and I'm so proud, and the people in Canada is so proud. What is our power really?
Well, she will become the chairperson, right? And if you reflect on all the powers that the previous ones had, she will also be having those. And now we have the added resource that she's legally trained, quite experienced, and probably also knowing to deal with people and so on. So that's an additionality. So I personally would give her some time to settle in, not weeks and weeks. But then again, such intellectuals usually don't need time to settle in. They hit the ground running, So we got so let's
I
go.
respect that. But she have the authority, what authority she have now concerning telling Mr. Granger, our president, that what, election can be held before September the 18th, or house registration is not the right way to go about it, they can do it through the treasury or whatever.
Yeah, I follow. So that's a good question, and I don't know how she will answer it, but I suspect as a professional, she will have an open discussion, a free and frank discussion with her commissioners, and I suspect, I might be biased as on this side of the divide, that she will issue those relevant directions and advice to the president sooner rather than later, right? Sooner rather than later. So let's give it another day or two, or over the weekend, see what happens, right? So I think we gotta give it's a new team because she's now joining it, that the kind of what they call form and perform, they're getting to know each other and so on. So I somehow feel a bit easier now, right? Okay.
I too agree. In Ghana also feels a bit satisfied that things are going, and I hope that Ghana evolves and this racial conflicts between people dying away.
Well, yeah, that's one of the aims. That's one of the aims. But if you look at the PPP demonstrations, Yeah, but if you look at the demonstrations we've had outside the office of the president and yesterday outside the you know, it's a way of certain critics and certain opportunists to holding on to this past history. But you look at our picket lines, look at our town councillors, our city councillors, look at the NDC leaders, right? So
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. I'm so proud of that we can all live in one and live in harmony. I'm really happy, and you are doing an excellent job.
okay, well, I got the red light blinking. The red light is blinking, and we gotta give up. So please keep in touch, and we can probably continue this discussion even after I've left the screen.
Thank you,
So
continue your voice.
okay.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so thank you for all the viewers who called in and those beyond. We missed about 28 calls, but that's part of the business. So I'd like to remind you that we are in election mode. In your communities, the party is recruiting for training on election day, youngsters and anybody who's bold enough to come forward and be trained for polling day staff of the PPP. Okay, a very good day to you. See you next Saturday.